So what looked like a comfortable walk in the park at 2-0 turns into yet another Forest heartbreaking, well, not heartbreaking, heart-wrenching game. It finishes West Ham 2, West Ham 1. I can't even get the words out. West Ham 1, Forest 2. Let's get into the player rates. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well and have had a minute just to catch your breath after a hellacious finish to that match. My God, man, that is not what I needed right now. If you're watching this, let me know who your man of the match was. If you're watching later, let me know in the comments who your man of the match is. And take a quick second, catch your breath. Make sure you do that by hitting the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And where do we start with this game? Now, I did say that the most likely thing that Forest do, just to really rub the salt in the wound, is go and win the next 2 games and we finish 6th or something. But yeah, that looks like that's on. That's on. It is now, as things stand, obviously Newcastle are playing Arsenal. But if Arsenal were to win, 3rd is in 66th and Forest in 7th are on 65. This is ridiculous right now at how tight this game is. My man Mike with the 28 months, big up to you, bro. Thank you so much for all your support. So let's try and decipher this game. And while I'm doing that, make sure you get your player ratings in. The link's pinned in the live chat, or it will be in the comments as well. Mark the players from 0 to 10. 0 being crap, 10 being outstanding, 5 or 6 being an average for you. And overall, I was impressed with certain elements of that game. I thought our pressing game in the first half was very good. Dominguez pressing, Gibbs-White pressing, Elanga pressing. And that really did force that first mistake, where a bit of press meant that Areola passes it straight to Gibbs-White. And even Gibbs-White is not going to miss an open goal, and he puts it in, and Forest go 1-0 up. This is after Gibbs-White's missed an absolute sitter from a long throw-in, and he's blasted it straight at the keeper. So in the early exchanges, for me, Forest were making, good work, and I thought we came out quite well. Big up to Mark. He says, I did say it'd go down to the Chelsea game. Yeah, but will it be for Champions League or not? It depends what Man City do. Shout out for the 33 months. And then once Forest went 1-0 up, the game was balanced. I don't think Forest dominated. I don't think West Ham dominated after that. And it was just like, it was balanced, but we were comfortable. And we were comfortable because Sangare was on the pitch. And I don't care what you guys say about Sangare or who likes him and who doesn't. You cannot deny the class of the player who can just take the ball in tight situations and still manage a forward pass on, or if he needs to, he will go back. He's just very cool and calm, and he's like the deep lying playmaker at times in those. And people are saying he's too slow for the Premier League. Well, is Partey quick? Is Rodri quick? All these kind of CDMs, you don't have to be quick to do it. Yes, he made the odd stray pass, but in general, while he was on the pitch, we felt quite comfortable. I thought Dominguez had another very, very good game. But for me, Milenkovic was standout in defense. Absolute brick in defense. Gets his goal as well. Brilliant goal. We'll talk about that in a second. I did think we were very quiet down the right-hand side, especially in that first half. Nothing really coming from Einar too much down that right-hand side. In fact, a lot of the play was down our left-hand side and West Ham's right-hand side, with probably Sufal having most of the ball for West Ham. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. In terms of Williams PV saying he was good today, I thought he wasn't amazing in the first half, but in the second half, I thought he had a very, very good game. But yeah, in general, it was quite balanced. And then Forest get the second goal from a very long VAR check, like 6-7 minutes, something like that, to decide, was it onside, was it offside? Eventually it was given, and Forest go 2-0 up. And that's where the mistakes happened for me. And I'm sorry to say, I think it was Nuno's mistake to go so defensive with about 7 or 8 minutes to go. taking off Sangare. Who else did he take off, chat? He took off Morgan Gibbs-White. I thought Morgan Gibbs-White was having a decent game, to be honest. Working very hard in that midfield, doing some good work. And I don't think he needed to be the one who came off. Let me just bring the changes up here because I can't actually remember them. So he took off Sangare, Anderson, Dominguez. Oh, wait, sorry. Took off Sangare, Gibbs-White. And who was the other one, chat? Was it Anderson? It was Anderson. I just think you don't... Look, couple of things on that. You don't just restructure your whole midfield suddenly, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It went from a 3-man midfield to a 2-man midfield of Dominguez and Danilo. And for me, that was just a bit too extreme. And then obviously he brought Morato on, who we will talk about in a second, to go to that back 3. Now, Morato has been seriously weak in the air. And within his first touch was to give Bowen an assist. And that was just such a poor header from him. Look, the rest of the game, he was okay. He made a couple of decent blocks. He even used, the family jewels to do it. But I think like we were almost the masters of our own downfall, because those substitutes for me signaled that Nuno was like, right, chaps, 2-0, we're fine, lock it down, low block your way through. And against a West Ham team who are another team who are playing for nothing, you don't need to invite them with a chance. And that's what we did with Morato. And Nuno making those substitutions. The other annoyance I had with the substitutions was when he brought Yates on and Jota Silva. Forest had only made one substitution window, or whatever the correct phrase is. Why didn't he bring Ryan Yates on separately and then 2-3 minutes later bring on Jota just to buy into another few seconds of time? Instead, he did both. Elanga was off the pitch on the side, so he just walked straight off. So no time was killed from those substitutions. But look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We won 2-1. We held out. We got 3 points. We are somehow still in this race, depending on what happens between Arsenal and Newcastle. There are so many different permutations that could happen on the final day of the season. It's going to be freaking crazy. The last 10 minutes, Forest were just under siege. You even had West Ham sending the keeper up for corners. Like, please explain to me why West Ham needed to get a point so badly out of this game. I have no idea. And then there was a whole set of handbags at the end there. So it is what it is. I don't care. We're over the line. We got 3 points. And now all eyes are on Forest versus Chelsea. So let's get into your player ratings. Let's see how you guys scored. Get them in if you haven't done them yet. It's a live count. It counts as soon as you submit. It updates the live score. My man Curtis with the £10 says, Sells 9, Williams 8, Murillo 9, Milenkovic 10, Einar 7, Sangare 8, Dominguez 7, Anderson 6, MGW 7, Elanga 5, Wood 4, Morato 2, Cho 5, Danilo 5, 6 and 6 for Jota. You wanted Murillo above Abba, LOL. I didn't want either, man. I would have taken Bolly. Shout out to you. Andy with the 199. Smoke beer. That's last 20 minutes. Effing hell, he says. Big up to you, Andy, as well. All right, let's jump over to the player ratings. And don't forget, if you want to grab, this is your last chance to grab the signed framed Forest shirt. It's worth probably like 500 odd quid. You can pick up a ticket for 99p by scanning that QR code from Football Prizes, or if you type !prize in the chat. Get your tickets in now. Only 99p. Can we stop sentencing our players to death over a bad game? We all thought Wood was shot until he wasn't. Bro, Morato has had stinkers the last couple he's been on, so it's not over one game. I don't know, mate. Did you think Morato played well, Callis? It's your call. Anyway, let's kick this off with Sells. Sells made some monster saves today. Sells deserved a clean sheet today. Sells should have had a clean sheet, and I think that would have been Golden Glove done and dusted, but he can thank his mate Morato for the non-clean sheet and his manager, technically, for bringing him onto the pitch. I don't think Sells was at fault for the goal. His saves were sublime. There was an early header from Souček, I think it was, and then a couple of good saves as well. For me, even though he's conceded one goal, I would score him like an 8, maybe even a 9. I think I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Absolutely brilliant performance from me from Sells. If you guys go higher on Sells, I got no problems with it. He was absolutely bang on today for me. Let's see what you guys did for Sells. 8.44. I got no problem with a higher mark than I gave him at all. Sells should be claiming those crosses. He can be a 10. He is a bit of an anchor man, isn't he, on his goal line? A little bit too much there. Nick saying Wood was crap for months when he signs. Look at him now. Don't write Morata off. Wood's been pretty crap the last couple of games, bro, if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, Morato's not good in the air. That's the problem. That's exactly what I've been saying, Si. Like, his touches, like, were not too bad outside of those stupid headers, man. But he's a big guy. You think he would be decent. You think he'd be decent in the air. Yeah, Sells the save at the end as well was a good save. So you guys got an 8.44 for Sells. Let's go through the back four. And let's start with Einar. By the way, how are we doing on the old like count? Right. We're on 86 likes with over 600 in here. Let's get that up well on the way to 150. It should comfortably be 150 now. So take a quick second, guys. Make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you subscribed as well. Thank you to the anonymous person who just bought me a coffee saying good commentary. Much love to you. Really do appreciate it. Shout out to you. Okay, Einar for me was very quiet today. If I'm being honest with you, I thought most of the work was coming down the left-hand wing. I don't think he's fully match fit. Defensively, he was fine, but I don't feel he was as involved in the attack. His throw-in created a chance for Gibbs-White, who should have scored from that. But overall, I just don't think he's quite the Einar of pre-injury. Now, he didn't have a bad game. I just don't think he was that influential. And I think we are overplaying the left side, maybe to protect him and get his minutes up and what have you. Risky game to play, but he is that good that, you have to play him. I'm going to give him a 6 for me out of 10. I just want to see a bit more from him going forward. Big up to you, bad boy, man. Much love. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Let's see what you guys did. 7.1. Am I being harsh on Einar? You guys scored him a whole point higher than me. You gave him a 7, says Ian. Morata does not have a track record that Wood does, says Si. 7 for Einar from Brett. I don't know. What did you lot score him? I think a 6 is quite fair, to be honest. You got to admire Bowen's goal from a Forest fan here. Yeah, his first touch was sublime. I think 7's high. Let's see what you guys did collectively, man. That's 7's a bit. Oh, no, wait, you went 7. You went 7, yeah. All right, fine. Yeah, I think he's a 6, but all right, each to their own. Milenkovic. Got to be in for a shout of player of the season for me, man. This guy's just a brick wall. He's had one bad game against, was it Brentford? Outside of that, I honestly struggle to think of a bad game he's had. If we kept a clean sheet, he's a 10. He got the goal. Defensively, very astute, very organized. Nothing really got past him for me. I'm going to give him a 9 just because we didn't keep a clean sheet. He was a 10 when we were on a clean sheet. So I'm going to give him an absolute 9 out of 10. Brilliant for performance. Crapper clearance from Morata for their goal. Get rid of the liability, says Owen. Ian saying a 9. Did any of you guys give him a 10? Bad boy giving him a 10. Randomizer's giving him a 10. Morata's not Prem worthy. All right, we'll come to Morata in a second. You're like way overexcited about talking about Morata. Bloody hell, man. All right, let's see what you guys did. I gave him a 9. Wow, 8.5. Wow. That's low, guys. I'm sorry. He had a good game. I'm a little surprised. What did you not individually score him then? Those of you saying 10s, I thought you would have scored him higher than my 9. I think you lot are a bit harsh. I think you lot are being harsh. I think 9's minimum, but he should have been a 10 with a clean sheet. So you lot are all claiming you gave him 9s and 10s, yet 8.5 is his score. Maybe you're not watching different match to me. Okay, let's move on to Murillo. I thought Murillo was very good today. He had energy. He was biting into the tackles. He obviously had the miracle recovery at halftime. Steve Cooper's magic sponge coming back. No one was giving Milenkovic any shit at the end. He was ready to go to war. Yeah, you're not going to mess with the Serbinator, man. Murillo, for me, not as good as Milenkovic, but very solid. Very solid today. I thought even in the air, he looked quite safe. Got a few key headers as well from corners and things. So I'll give him like a bit less than Milenkovic. Just because I think Milenkovic had the better game for me. So I'll give him an 8. I think an 8 is a good score for Murillo. But thank God he came back on. Thank God he came back on. So I'll give him a solid 8 out of 10. See what you guys did. Wow, exactly an 8 as well. Exact match there on my score. Crazy. Crazy. Now, I didn't miss Milenkovic scoring, bro. Milenkovic scored. That's what I'm saying. That's why he was a 9. Clean sheet would have been a 10. Murillo's a machine when it comes to injuries. I think he just likes to make us worry. I really do. So 8 from me, 8 from you guys. Fair enough. Nico Williams. I don't think he was that good first half. I think he was very good second half. A brilliant block from, I can't remember whose shot it was, but Soler squared it to them in the box. I would just say just slightly in the first. The only criticism I have of Nico Williams is the final third. His left foot is good enough for him to cross with it, but he tends to overcut into his stronger foot on the right to cross. That's just the only thing with me. I don't think his crosses into the box were amazing today, but I thought defensively rock solid. Definitely better second half than first half. In fact, outstanding second half with some of his blocks. And he was winning the ball in tight areas in and around that corner flag against their best player, by the way. He always seems to come up against their best player, the opposition's best player, and he's up against Bowen. So I'm going to give him a solid 8 out of 10 for me, kind of balancing out the two halves. But no real problems with his game today at all. Let's see what you guys did. 7.9. Bro, there's loads of you in the chat saying 10-9 man of the match, and you come up with a 7.9. Interesting. There's a lot of talk in the chat, and then when I expose your scores, it's very, very different. Very different. And I'm going to expose your like count as well. We're on 159 likes. Well over 600 in here. Let's get it to 200, right? We need 41 more likes. Make sure you've hit the like button if you haven't already. Okay, let's go into the midfield. Dominguez. Dominguez for me last week was man of the match, like comfortably. This week for me, Dominguez was solid. I wouldn't say he was outstanding compared to last week. I thought his pressing was very good. I thought his work rates were phenomenal. And overall, a solid game. I didn't have him in that upper echelon of best players on the pitch today. But overall, I don't think he did too much wrong. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought him, Elanga, and Gibbs-White were actually pressing quite well when West Ham had the ball deep in their half. But overall, it was a solid performance. I kind of like him in that position. Bro, I appreciate that, bro. Sorry I didn't chuck your name out, but thank you so much for the coffee, bro. Much love to you. I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10. And by the way, even though I thought he was man of the match last week, I actually prefer, and this may sound stupid, it probably will, I would be more happy with Dominguez playing. I like this midfield three, by the way. Him, Sangare, and Anderson, I like, right? I am happy for Dominguez, for me to score him a 7 out of 10 every week in that position. Because that's what I want him to do. Press the ball up, track back, make sure he wins the ball when he can, and then give the ball to Sangare. That's his job for me. That's his job. If he wins it up high, get it to Elanga or what have you. So yeah, I gave him a 9 last week or whatever it was, but I would rather he got a 7 every. I know it sounds weird, but but I'd rather he just did a nice solid 7 or 8 out of 10 every week in that position. So 7 for me for Dominguez. 7.8 for you guys. Was he an 8 out of 10? I don't know. I think more a 7. I think more a 7 for me, but this is the beauty of this channel. You guys get to have your say. Mark says he understood what I'm talking about. We're on that level, Mark. Surely we played Cho against Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi even against Chelsea, both wingers attacking. Yeah, and then Callum Hudson-Odoi ends their Champions League run and shishes them in the Bridgefield end like this. Yeah, that would be beautiful. All right, you guys went 7.8 for Dominguez. Who's next? My boy Sangare. I think serious questions need to be asked about why Sangare has not been used since January when he was fit. I told you guys on Patreon months ago that the reports coming out from training were that he was doing next level stuff in the training pitch. Why he hasn't been used in this anchor role, this deep lying playmaker role, is quite frankly not acceptable. In that running in these last 6 games where we've bottled it and crapped the bed, he could have changed those games. He could have changed those games. If you play both wingers, you can play the midfield you just wanted. Exactly. So like, he's not been, the injury's not held him back because I know he's been fit since January. When did we come back from Dubai? When was the Dubai thing? He's been around and he's been fit. He's just a calming influence who can pass the ball forward. The passes I love for him are those ones between the lines. He played one into Gibbs White again today. In fact, he's the reason wasn't it him that created the second goal? Wait. There was something he created that created a chance. I can't remember. I know the answer, but waiting for the Nunes goal is coming. We still got to talk about Moretto. I will say he still has a couple of bozo moments in our own box, but that will come with match sharpness. This is a guy this is probably the longest run he's had in the team in the league. This is now his 2nd or 3rd game in a row. But yeah, everyone wanted to write him off. And if you wanted to write him off, I have no problems with it, right? I think I said at one point, if he's not going to play, you might as well sell him. As good as he still is, you can't just carry that and not play him. He's too good to be bench warming. Is that his 3rd game in a row? And he's getting better for me. I'll probably say he was still better in the Leicester match. Yeah, he did make that mistake and rectified it. So, look, I think he wasn't as good at last time. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. But that's the missing piece. That's been the missing piece. I would play him, but don't overdo how he's been playing. I'm not overdoing how he's been playing. Like, could you see Ryan Yates passing the balls forward like he did? Of course you can't. Could you see like those tight spaces? Look, he's got a good turn on him when he's got the ball at his feet. He does. Anyway, I'm giving him an 8. What have you guys given? All right, you guys are coming round. 7.9. 7.9. All right, let's move on before you lot accuse me of being on commission with him. We're on 200 likes. Big up to you guys for hitting the like button. Let's get up to 250 if you haven't already. And let's talk about Anderson. I don't think Anderson had the greatest game today, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think he was bad. I just don't think he was as involved as I would like him to have been. He's been off the boil for the last couple on me. Is he fully fit? Do we go down this whole fitness thing? I don't know. Would anyone go with a Dominguez Sangare 6 and 8 against Chelsea? I don't think so. I think you need to do a midfield 3 because they'll probably have Lavia, Casado, and what have you in there. I do agree with what Roberto said there. I think he was a little wasteful in that final third. A few passes overhit, etc. He should have. Did he come off in the first batch of subs? I can't remember now. Let's have a look. He came off in the 83rd. Yeah, you see, I don't know. I don't think I would have. Yeah, he wasn't that first batch of subs. Guys, we didn't make a sub until the 83rd minute. We're going to talk about Nuno in a second. What I give Anderson? I'd probably give him a 6. I don't think it was his best game. Watching a Hammers channel, I was doing okay till then. During the Samaritan. I'm gonna give him a 6. All right, let's see what you guys did. You gave him a 6.9. Okay, I'd say he's between a 6 and a 7, so you're just in there. Fine. Okay, let's move on to who's next? Alanga. Bit quiet for me today. There was one chance where I thought he was going to explode past the fullback. There was a counter attack, and I was like, just take him on. You're quicker than him. He checked his run. I don't know why he did that. His cross for Milenkovic's goal was bang on. I thought the cross was exquisite. Outside of that, though, he did then eventually switch onto the left-hand side, which I didn't like. I don't know. His free kick was bang on the money. I just don't think game-wise he was that impactful. Fulham won 3-2. Oh, that's good for us, you know. That's good for us. Big time good for us. That means, sorry, let's just divert slightly. That means Fulham are now 1 point off 8th place. And depending on where Chelsea finish, could still end up in Europe. And they've got Man City on the last day of the season. Very interesting. And Bournemouth now have to beat Man City to put themselves into 8th place. Interesting. Anyway, on Elanga, I'll probably give him a 7. I think his on-pitch performance was a 6, but the free kick was bang on the money, gets him a 7. I agree, Kroos. I do agree. So, yeah, I'll give him a 7. Let's see what you guys did. 7.5. Was he better than I'm making out, guys? I don't really feel he was as impactful, but all right, it's up to you guys. Okay, Morgan Gibbs-White. I enjoyed his game today. I did. He missed an absolute sitter, don't get me wrong, in the first 5-10 minutes from that long throw-in. But he was awake enough to kind of cut out that ball from the goalkeeper and put it into the empty net. And yeah, his goal was key. But for me, his work rate was really good today. Really good. I don't feel he was highlighted. You know, usually you'll see him with the ball, moving it around, what have you. I feel like there was a phase in the first half from like the 20th minute to about the 40th minute where I felt he was pulling the strings really well for about 20-25 minutes. I am happy with him playing like that. That's a good game for me for Morgan Gibbs-White. That sitter was a sitter, though. It's an absolute sitter. And, you know, the good thing, what I'll say on the positive is when you miss a sitter like that, you got to make your next chance count, and he did. So fair play to him on that. But there's still the odd pass that goes astray. I think we're used to that by now. But overall, I just think he was pulling the strings a lot better in this game than he has in previous weeks. Even though last week against Leicester, he got a goal and assist, I think he played better this game than he did against Leicester. And that's why I don't overdo the weight I give on goals and assists. I like the overall gameplay. And if you're playing well, you tend to create chances and assists and goals. So I'll give him a solid 8 out of 10 today. I thought he was very good. Let's see what you guys did for Morgan Gibbs-White. 7.7. All right, not far off what I said. Probably Ant giving him a 0. That's brought his score down. Chris Wood. I didn't think he had a good game today. If I'm honest with you. I thought, again, he's not winning those headers that are being kicked long from cells. I just think he doesn't look fully fit. It was a good save, bro. It was right at him. I don't know, man. I don't think Chris Wood really was that involved in today's game, if I'm being honest with you. And if Taiwo was fit, maybe Nuno looks at subbing him off at some point, but there's no backup striker. I don't know, man. I didn't think he was that impactful. Probably give him a 5 out of 10 today. What was fuck all twice? If it's not on form, he's absolutely awful. Yeah, but John, you can say that about Haaland. If Haaland's not scoring for Man City, then Haaland doesn't offer City much. Like, strikers can be very binary in the Premier League. They score, they're the best player. They don't score or don't get a chance, they're rubbish. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like very binary when it comes to opinions on strikers. And you can say that. If you can say that about Wood, you can say that about Haaland as well. So I'm giving him 5 based on input. I just don't think he was involved in the game. Now, some will say, oh, no chances were created for him. There was, for me, the one play that sticks out against Chris Wood. I think he hesitated when he went through, and that was the thing I think created by Sangare to Gibbs White, then through to Chris Wood. I think he should have shot a cross goal. He then hesitated and squared it to Elanga. Yeah, had he shot a cross goal with the power he's got on his shot, if the keeper parries it, it goes to Elanga anyway. If he nails it in the corner, it's a goal. That's the difference for me. I just feel Chris Wood of 2 months ago would have just cracked it. So I'm giving him a 5. Maybe it's a little harsh. You guys have gone 6.4 on him. Okay, let's get into the subs. Again, let's get those likes up. We're on 228, so we need what we got 31 more likes to get us to 250. So get those likes up, guys, and let's look at these substitutions. It was a bit messy. There wasn't a sub until like the 83rd minute, which we'll talk about when we speak about Nuno in a second. First sub, Morato. Oh god. All right, guys, there was 3 subs: Morato, Danilo, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Who shall we speak on first? I wonder what the answer is going to be. In fact, I don't need to wait for your answers. I know what you lot are going to say. All right. Yeah, okay, let me bring him up. Okay, I'm going to be controversial here, right? I don't think he played bad, but he's a clown in the air. Okay? Now, his actual game, if you let's just take out, we'll talk about the Bozo moment in a second. The rest of the game was fine, right? With his feet, he's not bad. Okay? In the air, Bozo. Absolute Bozo. You do not head back. I mean, he literally heads the ball sideways to put it into Bowen's path. Now, Bowen had a lot to do. No, we're not doing a watch long aids for that. We have Grumpy Old Reds at 7:30 though. Grumpy Old Reds, by the way, will be 7:30 tonight. Everyone grab some food, watch the Newcastle Arsenal match, blah, blah, blah. But so let me just, I'm being clear on it. I thought his game was fine, but massive but, he's terrible in the air, and that mistake could have cost us 3 points. I think he was crap last week as well in the air against Leicester, and he got done by Buonanotte for the second goal. So he's a bozo. There's no 2 ways about it. And that bozo moment is now highlighted. This is the guy who 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, we're 1-0 up. I'm saying after 2 minutes, bring him on. Lock us down in that back 3. He has fallen from grace for me so much. Him, Jota Silva, Sosa, those kind of players have just fallen for grace. He'd struggle under your under 14s. He probably would. So, look, as Owen says, if that was Worrell making that mistake, I wouldn't be letting him off the hook. So I'm not letting him off the hook either. I thought the mistake was clown-like. I also think, I need to check it back, right? I also think the ball was probably going through to Sells. I don't know. I can't remember the direction of the flight. So maybe a shout from Sells to say, I've got it, wouldn't have been a bad idea. I need to see it back. I've only seen it in real time. And the question is, where was Bolly? Where was Bolly? So, stinker with that mistake. Rest of the game, okay. We're quick to end players' career in this fan base. Totally unfair. Yeah, but it's just after the game, Adam. Everyone's always going to react, and then everyone sleeps on it, and they think, whatever. It changes. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna be generous and give him a 4. Sells definitely could have called him off. My gut feeling said that, Mark. I need to see it back. I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Think is with Morato is he's the weakness in our defense. It was 5 years ago, maybe a good player. Yeah, he kind of looks a bit like Figueroa as well, doesn't he? A little bit, if you squint your eyes a little. Yeah, he did get an assist mark for that goal. Okay, I'm saying a 4. Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't think you're going to be as nice. 3.7. 3.7. Okay. I thought you guys were going to go lower, if I'm honest. But okay, you've been a little bit objective. Cool. Okay, next up, Danilo. Danilo was busy, but like, how can I describe Danilo? He didn't do anything wrong, but he wasn't really winning the ball. You know what I'm saying? He was like snapping at the heels. Mainly him and Paqueta seemed to be like fueling up quite a lot. Give him a 0. Far too generous. Fair enough. I'm going to give Danilo subs 5 out of 10. I thought he was all right. I don't think he changed the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he changed the game. Probably his best performance since he's been back, to be honest. So I'll give him a 5. Yeah, he did intercept that ball and stop it. Ant's giving Danilo a 10. Of course he is. Look, I'll get a phone call from Ant saying, how dare you give Danilo a 5? You lot will all be getting calls from Ant saying, how dare you give him a 5.8? So 5.8 from you guys on Danilo. Callum Hudson-Odoi came on in that patch as well. Didn't see too much from him, if I'm being honest with you. And as in, like, he didn't have to. I guess technically he ended up with 20 minutes in the game, didn't he? But I don't think he influenced the game too much. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. I may be forgetting a moment, but I'm getting hungry, so I always forget things. So I'll give him a 5 out of 10, kind of sub 5. I never saw Danilo ahead of Dominguez, but little time to give a score for 5, says John. Yeah, Hudson-Odoi is unfit. I definitely was for that Hudson-Odoi substitution at 2-0 because I want him ready for Chelsea, because I want him to score the winner next week and shush the Chelsea fans. Now, he's not going to shush them, but in my head, it would be beautiful. Okay, and yeah, I would have brought him on a bit earlier as well, by the way. So I give him a 5. You lot are giving him a 5.7. Ryan Yates was next. Yates. What did Yates do? Refresh my memory. Did Yates do anything, guys? I can't remember. What minute did he come on? 19. I mean, he didn't get long, did he? Just the injury time. I can't remember. What Yates did. If it was good, if it was bad, if it was ugly. I'll give him a 5. Right. Let's see what you guys did. 5.6 on Yates. And then Jota Silva, he annoyed me because he didn't take it through to the corner flag. Fairly quiet. Didn't get booked. All right, maybe I'll give him a 6 for not getting a booking. Jota was busy, but I wish he took it to the corner flag instead of the shot. I wouldn't have shot if I was him. I would have taken it to the corner flag. Well, okay, most footballers are going to shoot. I get it. But I just need some more dark arts from these players. I really do. I'll give him a 6. 6 out of 10. And you guys gave him a 5.9. Okay, this is the one I'm interested to see what you guys did on, which is Nuno. Get your comments in on Nuno. Everything was fine. 2 things for me on Nuno. Team selection, fine. 2 things for me. Substitutions were too late. Firstly, 83rd minute to make the changes, too late, man. Don't bring, when you got 3 substitution windows, don't just use 2 in 1 in the 90th minute, use 2. And don't go so defensive. When you're 2-0 up, man, we were quite comfortable, just needed to freshen it up. Like, I would have said, like, I don't think many look knackered. I probably would have taken Anderson off for Yates. You know what I'm saying? Probably that would have been the only real change. Anderson for Yates would have been my first change. And then Callum Hudson-Odoi for Elanga 5-10 minutes after that. I don't think the shape needed to change, and I think he changed too much too quickly. Taking off, who was it? Sangare and Anderson and Gibbs-White. That's 3 out of your 4 midfielders who have been working for 83 minutes and kind of got a rhythm to the game. It's too aggressive of a midfield change. I think it just needed an Anderson off, a Yates on. If he was going to take Gibbs-White off, maybe bring him on for Callum Hudson-Odoi. What I didn't mind about the setup was if he set this up with Dominguez on the left wing again, I wouldn't have liked it. But I did like this midfield three. I do actually really like this midfield three: Anderson, Sangare, and Dominguez. I don't know what he's going to do with the front three, though, come Chelsea. So maybe some of these players had knocks and what have you, but it was just too late. It was too late. But it doesn't matter because we got the points, right? It did matter last week. His substitutions messed up the game. I don't think he learned from that. And it's no surprise that after he made those changes, 3 minutes later, we concede the goal, right? So I'm not freaking hanging him up at the stakes or anything here. I'm just calling what I saw today. He should have learned from last week. There was no need to go that defensive this week. You had a double goal margin for it, but that's been his mentality. Look, we will praise it, or I will praise it when he's done it over the season and then we've held out and kept a clean sheet. Fine. But right now, Forest aren't in a stable enough position that with 10 minutes to go, you can go so defensive that we lock it down how we did 2-3 months ago. That's the big difference for me, right? I personally would have thought the third goal destroys the match. And we saw what happened after they got the one. It was a bit of an onslaught and the stupid injury time and what have you. Look, he's got the 3 points. I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. Most of that 7 is coming from the scoreline and the team lineup to start with. He loses points for me for the substitutions, but that doesn't deduct from it as much because we got the win, okay? That's what I'm saying. So 3 points in the bag. We're still in this race. What's happening with the Arsenal? Newcastle still 0-0, coming up to half time now. Agreed, Wolfie. We shouldn't get carried. We should have carried on as we were. Yeah, exactly. Just tweak it. Just tweak it. Like Anderson off for Yates, Hudson-Odoi on for Gibbs-White, maybe 5-10 minutes after that, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, quick reminder, guys, please do hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. And now let's figure out man of the match. What are we saying for man of the match? Milenkovic has got to be up there, yeah? Let's get some names here. Milenkovic. Let's get a vote going here. Right, while I'm voting, get those likes up to 300, please. I'm putting Sangare on. Williams, you guys seem to want Williams. Areola needs a shout as well. Who else do you want? Who else scored highly today? Yeah, Gibbs-White. Let's check Gibbs-White on as well. He had a good game. All right. So there's your options. Get your votes in for man of the match. I'll give you literally 30 seconds. And while we're doing that, don't forget Grumpy Old Reds tonight, 7:30 p.m. Oh, crap. I should have put Cells. Cells would have been a shout. Cells would have been a shout. So, right, let's look at this vote. I think there's only going to be one winner, though. At the moment, Milenkovic on 58% of the vote. Sangare. By the way, if you've never voted on this, free to do. Just look at the live chat, and it should be a pop-up there, in there. Just click on the person you want to vote for. Milenkovic on 60% of the vote. Sangare with 21%. Williams with 10%. And Morgan Gibbs-White with 7%. Right, I'm going to let it hit 100 votes. So get your votes in quick. And then I'm going to close the vote and we are going to declare the man of the match. So, your man of the match with 66%, 65%, 66% of the vote goes to the Serbinator. And you know what? I tend to agree. Okay, so ladies and gents, that brings us. Ooh, who likes my flashy changing scene screen? Right, that brings us to the end of the player ratings. We're back at 7:30 tonight to break this all down in Grumpy Old Red. So that gives you guys a chance to go grab some food, check out the second half of the Arsenal game, etc., etc. And then we will see exactly where we are. And then, yeah, I will be on Never a Foul afterwards. Maybe there's some sunglasses on, who knows? So go grab yourself some food, but please do me a quick, massive favor. Make sure you've hit that like button. If you're new here, please do subscribe. It's completely free to do. We'll see you back here at 7:30 for Grumpy Old Reds. Go grab yourself some food. Forest have beaten West Ham, pulled themselves back into this Champions League race. It finishes West Ham 1, Forest 2. Come on, you Reds.